The corporate files, and emergent awareness. All is mental. Let's talk a little bit about the emergent awareness relationship technology. It is a big set of words, but if you paid attention during the introductory video to my channel, you may have noted that we broke down awareness into three simple groups to understand: habitual, customizable, and emergent. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong here. There's no better or worse, and there are no higher levels. There's just different ways of perceiving the constellation of your interests and how you engage your mind to live those interests. The habitual and customizable are like life is something to be done, so there is always something to do. And emergent awareness is like life is something to be experienced as the effect of thought cause. And so with the third group, there's almost no physical effort involved. A little, but just the basics. The work is mental. So the interest really is in sort of a different kind of creative experience. The emergent awareness is merely a mind basically pointed towards unity, towards truth, and that vector is self-fulfilling, compelling, expanding, yet only a reminding to self and source. Corporations are ideas. So as the corporation goes through the interaction with corporate facilitator, it will immediately understand at a level it can comprehend. We never need to worry about tuning this way. We just use the light. Light is information that opens the mind, which is connected to light vector portal stations on the grid. The unified state of mind is an out-of-pattern interval. So what's happening as we point the mind towards unity, towards truth? Because it's an out-of-pattern interval, time and space are irrelevant. We are dealing with causality. Time and space are merely effect. So don't worry about them. They are respondent to what we're doing and will unfold and collapse accordingly. It is ironic, but testament to the power of your mind, that a symbol, words in general, that are designed to cement unreality are actually being leveraged quite easily for the opposite purpose. Avatars access the unified state by finding the present. Now here's the trick. Mind yoga catalysts, the stuff I'm doing here, these videos assist the process, especially if they challenge you a little bit as you're thinking through them. That's the idea, just to keep your mind stretched. Structurally, however, there are various gaps in the identity thought constellation, and they are subsequently closed as an effect. That's what we want. We want the gaps to be closed. Gaps were just false concepts, false self-concepts that yielded false perceptions. False perceptions block progress in the corporate or any world. They also block communications in the grid, not to mention distorting all your relationships. So they'll naturally improve. Avatar identity thought constellations are experienced as pleasing in relationships, so you'll start having smoother, more interesting relationships as well. Think of the gap closures like a neural network in full transmission, as in no resistance, all enabled by the reminding to the continuity of the present. As this reminding occurs, relationship constellations, all intersection points, are now primed for unfoldment. The level of communication is raised and relationships heal. They open, they transcend previous patterns, and they sublimate to that love is. And what we want to grasp here is that movements to unity, movements to truth, they cost you nothing. You only gain from this process. You'll never believe that until you step into the process. It is that simple. The ego is frightened, okay? It's going to have a fear-based reaction to everything I'm saying because we're asking you to look at the self-concept with openness as opposed to with a protectiveness. And through the openness, it will begin to be revealed to you in a manner that is comfortable for you to engage and not be frightened by. But you've got to trust that the inner you, self, is good enough to do something like that for you. Without you, it is incomplete. Now, it took me a long time in my career to even use the word love in any context related to the corporate world. But as I continued in my own professional growth, I kept getting asked the same question. How do I build a team? How do I form unity? Well, there's only one actual identity, and remember, we deal with causality here, identity thoughts. There's only one actual identity that ties every single avatar to each other, just one, and it's called love. I had to admit that to myself, and that's why I incorporate it in what I teach, because it is actually the way for all to bind rapidly to each other.